Welcome back, guys. We're in the shed and we've got the VZ out. There's a car show on this coming weekend and I thought I wanted to clean it up, I wanted to take it to it, get an unregistered vehicle permit and just, yeah, enjoy driving it. So yeah. So I've decided to get out of the shed. I thought it's been very, very empty on fuel. So I thought I'll go get some fuel, chuck her in, and it still won't start. Now I've chucked my head under the fuel tank, I've given it a bit of a bang, but I think the pump has shit itself, which is probably my fault, seeing though I kept starting it while it had low fuel and it probably burned it out. I do have a spare pump here, the pump that I did put in this when this had the stock tank in it. So I'm lucky I still kept that. So during the week, I'm just going to swap the cars around. During the week, I'm going to chuck it up, probably pull the tank out and see what I can do. So I've just pulled the tank out. I went to go check the power here, but I haven't got the battery hooked up there, so I'll probably do that during the week. I'm going to head back out home now. But yeah, so hopefully I can get this sorted off. Yeah, got the other pump. Should still be sitting in this module actually. There it is there. That module's different, so I have to actually pull it completely out. Pull this completely out, but I double checked the fuse had power, but I just want to double check it has power here. It's more than likely burning out because I've ran the fuel low and shit like that, so. But hopefully, that's all it is, and hopefully my other pump will work. It's the same pump, so it should. It's just, I remember last time it was a real prick to get this module pulled apart. But yeah, other than that, I'll give it a bit of a tidy up. Chuck the wheels back on it off this. It's absolutely filthy that it's disgusting. But even this is a bit of motivation to start pushing to get some things done on it, which will be good. So I got the module out of the fuel tank that was in the pink car. Now I'm just gonna knock the one out of this, and yeah, it'd be good if I could just put the whole module in, but I can't, it's different. So yeah, I'll have to pull it apart and swap the pumps over. Wow, this here does not look good at all. This fuel hose has just perished away and just, wow. I'm thinking maybe because it's a fuel hose that's not meant to be in the tank. I'm not too sure. Maybe that's why it's just, the fuel's just melted it. There's my dodgy wiring. Thinking bloody tape it hold. Wow, I'm actually very glad that this has happened now. So yeah, I'll have to address that issue. That's really bad, and I'll have to put some heat shrink over them. I'm thinking, because this is the exact same fuel hose, if I left this in for as long as that's been in, that this hose would go the same. So lucky that it's happened, because I'll get some fuel hose that's suitable. It's started to peel in there anyway. That's off out of the pink car, and yeah, I cannot get over that. Sorry, the bench is a mess, but after struggling for a while, fair while, I finally got the pump out. Now it doesn't even, it looks fucking terrible for a new pump that only got put in a few years ago. 3 years, I think, actually. Yeah, so I only just pull this one apart, which this one's a lot easier. The module doesn't have a reg on it and stuff, so pull this one apart, and yeah. So I've got the other pump in. I've soldered the wires and I put some heat shrink over it. Not 100% sure if this heat shrink's even approved for B&M fuel, probably not. And I couldn't find any submersible hose in town, so I'm just gonna run this stuff again. It should be fine. Like, it's gonna come out soon when I put the manifold on and everything. Come out, get put on E85 and stuff. So I'll revise it then. And I know it still lasts a while, so I'll just put it back together how it is, and yeah, we'll go from there. Just hooked the battery up, and I haven't got the fuel tank sitting right in, but I got it plugged in and the hose is on. So I'm just gonna prime the fuel, see if it works, and I might just quickly kick it in the guts, make sure it starts if the fuel pump's working. So after mucking around with it for all afternoon, put the new pump in it, done a few things, just been checking fuses, relays, just checking it, pull the hose off, make sure the fuel pump's getting like working. And I've come to the conclusion that there's no power getting to the fuel pump. I pulled a coil lead off, coil plug off, put another coil on with a spark plug. It's got spark. The fuel pump's working, but it's not getting power to the fuel pump all the time. So I bridged the fuel pump relay and got power to the pump, but it's just not getting there. So tomorrow, once this battery's all charged up, tomorrow afternoon I'll bridge the fuel pump relay to get some fuel pressure up here, and once there's fuel pressure there and I've got a bit of cranking amps, hopefully it'll start. And then if that's the case, I'll try get a new fuel pump relay, because the one that's in that one is different. So I'll try and get a new fuel pump relay and then see if that's a problem, and if not, something causing the fuel pump not to start. Now I've checked the lock light's going off on the dash for the immobiliser. There's no codes on the dash, no nothing. It's just weird. Like, for it to be parked for so long, starting all the time, and then for there to be nothing, it's just, yeah, it's a bit odd. Well guys, I'm absolutely stumped with this thing. I've been over everything I could. I've put a battery in there, so it was hooked right up to the terminals. I've swapped starter relays around. I've swapped the engine control relays around. I've bridged the fuel pump relay, and the fuel pump works and has now given me pressure up here, but the fuel pump still doesn't work when the key turns on. It was only because I'd shorted out or jumped the wire so it could actually pump the pump. I've checked for spark. I pulled a coil out, earthed it out, checked for spark. It's got spark. I've gone over every single plug on the engine, make sure it's all on properly. I've unplugged the ECU, plugged back in, it's fine. All the pins look fine and everything like that. Every single fuse in the car is fine. yeah, I've spent 3 days on this now, trying to get this thing going, and read forums and just, yeah, nothing. I put the new pump in it because I thought it had burned it out, which the other pump probably still works, but I'm glad I pulled it out because it still had the issue with it, with the hose on it, which I have here still. Still had the issue with this hose perished. I put a scan tool on it. Borrowed a scan tool off a mate. Put that on it. Still nothing. I tried my spare key. Still nothing. The lock light, the security light that's flashing on the dash, it goes away when I unlocks it. So seems to me like the key's working, the immobilizer's working, everything like that. It just has me stumped. So I don't know, it's not what I want to hear, but it's kind of leading toward the ECU, but it's very odd that it's just happened like that. And for it to be doing nothing, sitting in the shed, I start it up every now and then, and for it to just do that, it's kind of really, really odd. So yeah, that's where I'm at with this at the moment. I've reached out on forums and on Facebook to see if anyone has had a similar problem, they could help me out. So I guess I'll wait to hear back and see if anyone's got any ideas and go from there. So I've just got a can of Aerostart. I'll spray it in here. Spray enough in there. Come back and it wants to fire. Which is but nothing without it. So yeah, it's just not letting the injectors open up at all. Yeah, which is really odd. Really, really odd. So I've jigged this up at the moment. I've got the seat holding the broom on the clutch, so it'll start. Car's in neutral. And I've got the seat holding on the accelerator a bit so it can open the throttle. And I want to try and get it running on the... Just don't want the throttle on too much. Yeah, I just want to get it running to see if it can build up oil pressure and maybe see if that may be the reason why it's not starting. So I didn't want too much on the throttle, so hopefully it's not open too much, but enough so I can spray some stuff in there. So we're just sitting in the car now. A mate of mine has let me borrow his snap-on scan tool. I've had it plugged in the other day, but I'll get it back out and I'll show you what it's doing. It's got some crazy codes in it, so I'll show you what they are. So we'll get into it. Gotta remember how to use it. Manual D, 5. Commodore VZ 3.6 190. Okay. Do a code scan. Yeah. Here we are. Still scanning. Now this snap-on tool is unreal what it brings up. Still fully loading. Right, so it's brought up a EEPROM checksum error, which I've googled the codes and they say that it's a communication error. So like something's not getting power, something's not communicating with each other. We went into another mode on here and had a look at the body control module, ECU, kit immobilizer, everything like that, and it was all linked to each other, so we ruled that out. It's also got no serial data from ABS. When I've looked up people having that problem, it's usually the ABS module to the BCM. We've also got no serial data from BCM, and then no class 2 serial data. Now I've looked up these two, and I'm just thinking that it's possibly something to do with maybe a faulty BCM, or no, like a short or something to the BCM. For it to bring up the ABS code, which is controlled by the BCM, just makes me think that it's more the BCM. And for it to bring up no codes in the ABS anti-lock brakes, no codes there, it's bringing up my airbag code, so I have to get 2 seatbelt tensioners. That's all that is. No alarm codes. It's saying no body control module code, so it's saying no engine codes, no body control module codes, no alarm codes, no ABS codes. It's just coming up with communication codes, which is very odd. So yeah, I'm yet to look up this code here and see what it's about. It's the no class 2 serial data. So it's something, it's either the ECU is not communicating properly. It's all linked, they're still all linked together. Although it does say the engine codes are good and the BCM codes. So now it's probably just come to me that maybe it could be the other module that I had out up here. I can't remember what it's called, but it's to do with like the powertrain module. Yeah, so it's got me really stumped on what it is. So I've just gone into something and it gives me the pin out of every pin on the ECU. So I might take a couple photos of this because that'd be handy to have later on. And I might be able to check voltage coming out of things. So I'll take some photos of this. So this one here catches my attention. It's the CAN high voltage line. So I wouldn't mind checking that. This is on the harness side. I wouldn't mind checking that that wire, see if it's got any voltage coming out. If there's no voltage coming out of that, that shows me that, or if there's low voltage coming out of that, that shows me that the ECU isn't, something faulty inside the ECU, I'm fairly sure. So nothing coming out of that, that means that it could be the ECU that's buggered, and it is a common problem for these to have the ECU buggered. There was also a low one here, I thought. CAN low. So I'll look at the power difference, voltage difference between them two, and they might be my wires that I'm chasing, because I just looked up the U1000 code and it was a CAN bus wiring fault. So no communication, like obviously in those wires there. So that's something I've got to look into. So it's just doing a CAN bus test, and I don't really know much about it, but nothing is spiking, so there's no voltage in it at all. And it's saying, so that's zero volt. That's the seconds there, how many seconds it's been going for, I'm fairly sure. And that's the voltage, and there's no voltage at all. And it says here, condition key on, engine off, expected result should read 2.7 volt approximately. CAN low, at component disconnected, connect test leads, yellow equals CAN low, black equals ground, pin 4, condition, doesn't say, expected result. So the low side should read 2 volt approximately. It says the possible causes of unexpected results: CAN line short circuit to ground, or CAN line short circuit to battery positive. So I don't know if you could see that then. CAN high and CAN low short circuit together. It says for further information, see 10-minute CAN glass connector. Blah, blah, blah. It's telling me what pins it is here. 16, 9 there. 4 ground, 5 black, ground. CAN high is blue. Engine / radio serial data K line purple. CAN low yellow, and battery positive is red and white. So CAN low should have 2 volts. That's the yellow. So if I go out and test that, that should have 2 volts. And the CAN high, the blue one, should have 2.4 volts. It's another thing, another test was a circuit test, and it said test at component disconnected. Use vehicle battery as reference. Maximum allowable voltage drop of 0.2 volts. Connect test leads to pin 16. Condition have the engine key on, engine off. Expected results should read battery voltage. Possible cause of unexpected. So you're allowed 0.2 of a drop from the battery to this, and if not, there's a broken cable, blown fuse. Needs a connector, view harness side, back probing data link connector, and just says the pins again. So I just want to do all my tests on this as much as possible before I have to give it back. That way I can look back on the videos and do the tests. So I think I'm going to leave the video there. I'm not sure when I'm going to get back to working on this, and I want to get a video out for you guys. I've got a few tests I got to do now after going through that computer and having a bit of a look, just to test like the power and see if it's getting a voltage drop and things like that, to see if it's got all the communication CAN bus lines are all good, see if it's got any broken wires or if there's a module not communicating. So I've got a few things to check. Yeah, so I think I've got enough footage to do this video. So I'm gonna leave it there. Give it a like, subscribe, comment down below, and if you got any solutions on what the problem could be, comment down below. I'm taking help where I can get it, because it's frustrating as hell for it to be sitting in the shed one day to not starting the next. Just has me a little confused and a bit, yeah, it's a bit odd. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.